Good afternoon. Welcome to a very special episode of Across the Desk with Pastor Clark. We're going to take a little turn this time. I'm going to be doing a different type of a podcast. We're doing a podcast on financial literacy. I have a very special guest for you guys on today. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. He can do a better job at it than I can. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you for having me here, Pastor Clark. It's an absolute pleasure being here. Name's Daryl Bonaparte, and born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. And retired military. Have an awesome life and career. I got to serve in the military, and I've also served over 20 plus years in the mortgage, banking, and finance industry. I am currently a licensed life insurance and annuities agent in the state of North Carolina, working with a brokerage firm, First Financial Security, headquartered in Johns Creek, Georgia. And my life's goal has just been financial education, financial literacy, helping people to make sure they put their life together in the right way to prepare for the future, and taking care of that through their children as well as themselves.
Okay, it's good. Now, he left some out. He probably take a while to go through his resume. I mean, he's former city councilman. He didn't tell you everything. Former city councilman. I guess I helped him out. I mean, brother had a lot going on. I met this brother by the way of a good friend of both of ours. And I felt the need to do a podcast with him because I feel like, we, even though we're in trouble, we still have trouble with our finances.
Yes.
And we need to learn how to use our finances in proper ways and make them go further than what they can go. And he's here to try to help us with that. He's going to give you some information where if you need to contact him, where you can. But we'll get ready to get started. Okay, brother, tell the viewing audience some of the stuff that you do.
Well, the main thing, as I was stating before, it is important that we, as much as possible, don't wait too late in our lives to start preparing for retirement, to start making sure that our finances is working for us, or making sure that we have invested in the right real estate, putting our money in the right retirement products, retirement plans, and what have you, making sure that our children, as much as possible, educating folks on how important it is to start our children off while they're children, in their younger years, pre-teens. Making sure that we have life insurance, retirement products, or what have you, put in place for our children. Not wait until they get out of high school, not wait until they finish college. Educate them and get those things early. Get ahead of the game and start putting together a plan to have a wealth where that wealth is going to go through generations of our family, and that's why we start early as possible, and we work as hard as we can, and strategically to help educate the community and educate our clients as much as possible on that, and let them make the best decision for them, helping them to make the best decision for themselves.
You might be sitting there saying, well, Pastor Clark, what they have to do with ministry? It has all the things to do with ministry.
There's a lot to do.
Because the Bible tells us we should be good stewards over our finances. And I think finances is mentioned in the Bible over 2,000 times, talking about money and financial situations in the Bible. That's because when he says something about generation, the Bible talks that we should live our life in a way that our kids should be able to live off the wealth that we generate.
Yes.
You can't worship God if you bought down in your bills, worrying about how you're going to pay your bills and all that. So you can't give God the good worship like He desires for us to give Him. But if you're all right in your finance department, if you're caught up in your bills and stuff, you're free to worship. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes, sir. And you don't have to be wealthy to build wealth. That's one of the misnomers about just starting, getting people to start. And it is not a wealthy person game. That's not how that works. You're getting the right consultation from those that you trust, so that you can build a financial portfolio that's going to benefit you over the course of your life. And that's what this is about. And so I will start with this, Pastor.
Okay.
We, as we are spending our lives, a lot of people spend our lives in church. I was born and raised in the church. Baptist church, and our church is right across the street from me, and literally walk out my front door and walk right across the street in the church. So we were going to be in church.
You're going to be there.
And we grew up born and raised in West Charlotte, in a low income community, called Smallwood, Seversville.
I know exactly where that's at.
Where I was born and raised in Charlotte. And so one of the things that we did a lot and that we had happening in church, and this is not just about church, this is about our lives, period. But we would, be pushed and educated to give money a lot. But as they were giving money, what I found a lot of the members not doing, and I was a little boy, I didn't know about this then, but as I got older, I realized, it did a lot of giving, tithing, offering, but we weren't getting the education to do that for ourselves as well, to build our storehouse. At your home, what you should be doing and building your own storehouse.
That's good.
And how you should make sure that your home is on a solid foundation. And not just a structural home, but your not just your spiritual home, but your financial home.
True.
So outliving your money is not a good feeling. Meaning you get to a point where you're no longer going to be working, but you don't have enough money put aside to live on now that you're no longer having to work. And Social Security is nowhere close. And it is not going to be where it should be in 15 years from now. It's still up in the air. But we need to make sure that we be good stewards of the knowledge that we have and to share it with those that we want to know that needs that knowledge to help build their financial future and make sure they have something placed aside for their children and put their children in a financial situation that they're going to be okay without them. Because that's not a worry that we like to have is how is our children going to be? You say, well, they're adults and they're going to live their own life. But as parents, we really don't want our children to be left fending that way. We want to make sure we feed them the right knowledge and putting them in a financial situation that is going to be prosperous for them as well as our grandchildren that they have. That's what we want to make sure that we do.
I was thinking about something you said. I don't know if you really heard yourself when you said, but I heard it clearly when you said that we should learn how to generate wealth and finances for our own life and to make our own life better and so that I'm just paraphrasing what you said. And I was thinking about that Jesus said himself, I come that you have life and have life more abundantly. He didn't come that we just have church. And see, a lot of places teach you how to be a good church member, but they don't teach you how to have a good life.
Yeah.
How to live your life, and I'm gonna back up a little bit. When you talk about stewardship over your money, they're not talking about just gaining money, having a lot of money. They're talking about having integrity, along with your family, being a good steward over your family. Meaning, if you owe somebody, pay them. If somebody work for you, you pay them. Pay them with integrity. Be honest, and you paying them. Don't try to shortchange them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
That's what stewardship means. When it talks about that in the Bible. And like I said before, it's over 2,000 places in the Bible where it specifically talks about finances. So it's not, having money is not a bad thing, because you're going to have money. So you can't go down to the light bill place and say, here go my prayer for my bills. They're going to shut your lights down. You got to go there. You got to have money to pay those things. And we don't have to be broke every time we pay all our bills. We should have stuff left over. When we are being good guardians over our finances.
Yes, sir.
We have a program in place that we are trying to work. And I think Mr. Bonaparte has something here. Come out. I look at him as a Christian businessman. He's one of us. But he's also a businessman. So he's giving us ways to navigate financially through this world that we live in and is based upon finances.
I want to start with home buying, and then I'll go into speaking about the life insurance. The different life insurance products that are available to us now, because people think life insurance has to deal with when we pass away, and that's not the way life insurance is today. Life insurance that we use now is to help us live, is to help us have life, where you're the beneficiary of your own life insurance policy, and it's not something that you have to wait until you pass away and then it's going to be beneficial to the children or spouse or what have you. There are different products out there now, wonderful products that the industry has that we should educate ourselves on and make sure that we have the right type of product for us. Because when we retire, a lot of people don't have adequate medical insurance and what have you, but there are life insurance plans that comes with living benefits that will help you to take care of issues that financial issues, so that you don't have to tap into your savings, your 401k or what other type of retirement you have. You can use that money from that life insurance retirement plan that you have put in place to help take care of your expenses, your living, your health situation, and not have to deplete your money that you've already put aside. And a lot of people are not aware of that, and they need to be more aware.
I wasn't aware of that, so I know we're gonna be talking.
Yes,
I know
yes,
that. I mean, I'm listening. I'm looking because I'm listening. Because we don't know a lot of stuff. We take a lot of stuff for granted. And it's people out here that research these types of things. They can tell you the best way to do certain stuff, and people that's honest. I mean, people that's honest and they deal with this stuff with integrity. I use integrity a lot because that's a lot that a lot of us lack. And so that's why I got this brother on the show. I know he would be a great help. A lot of information. Y'all need to be writing some of the information down, and he gonna give his contact after we finish. And do they have to be locally to contact you, or
no?
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I know probably won't be able to go into everything, but we can help people all over the United States and territories, all over the country. Okay, and in some cases also when it comes to our life insurance and retirement products, when it comes to nationalists, what have you, we're also able to help people who may also have property here in the United States and also in other countries. You can also help them with our products as well, depending on the situation, if they fit the criteria. So it doesn't matter the situation, as long as they fit the criteria. We can help a lot of people and have discussions with them about life insurance and retirement products that they should have in place that we can help them with. But as I mentioned, I would start with the real estate that's going on, and again, I'm speaking more specifically about the United States. But when I work with one of the mortgage companies that I work with for many years, and we would help our clients get prepared to buy a home. And a lot of times when people are purchasing or getting prepared to purchase a home, they get to find a ratio and make it see what your debt to income ratio is, so they can see about you qualifying. But there's a lot more to it than just your debt to income ratio and your credit score. That we get really concerned about, and that's what's pushed to us by the finance companies, and see what your debt to income is and how much debt you have. There's good debt and there's bad debt. But the other thing is, there's a lot that comes with home ownership. For example, when you're purchasing a home and planning to purchase a home, what you need to make sure that you're putting in perspective is what your average grocery cost going to be. When you get a home, it's not going to just be paying the mortgage and paying the homeowner's insurance. What your groceries going to be? What are your light bill average going to be? What you're paying now, as opposed to what size house you're going to purchase, and what the average is in that area, wherever you're looking for. But you need to add up and guesstimate. But you got groceries. You have gas that you got to pay monthly, weekly. You're going to be working. If you have children, you have daycare. You have clothing. You have food for them. What is it going to cost?
So all that got to be in.
All of that stuff. When it comes to if you're going to have a gym membership, all of these things that you're having to get done, haircuts, going to the salon, those things need to be put into your monthly expenses, not just the mortgage, other things.
You have a lot. That's all we think about.
That's how you determine what you can really afford for a mortgage monthly. You want to, because people will get a mortgage and they're not considering those things, right? Do you already have health insurance premiums that you're paying, life insurance premiums that you're paying? You got to pay insurance on your car. That's not included in what you're having to do when you get the mortgage. So if you have a $2,000 a month mortgage, okay, and which people are getting that on a normal case, and it's kind of disturbing, but that's like a normal thing now. But our minimum wage is still struggling to keep up with this type of mortgage, so people can't afford to get the houses a lot of times because of minimum wage.
True.
But if you getting, let me be more realistic. In some cases, you get a $1,000 a month mortgage. They're saying you can qualify for that because of your debt to income. But you have not included your groceries, your light bill, your gas bill, your water bill, getting your lawn cut if you're going to do it yourself, if you're going to have a landscaper. These things I mentioned about your child care expenses and getting your hair, just getting a haircut, whatever. how much it's going to cost to get tires, getting your oil changed on a regular basis.
True.
All those things go in, and you break them down to a monthly expense. So you may pay $1,000 a month for your mortgage, but you got to have insurance on your house. Even though you may be paying that insurance once a year, you break it down over a monthly thing because you still got to pay it. Whether it's once a year or whatever,
set aside for it.
You got to set aside the money for it. Okay, and so you got to put all those expenses in there. So you can have a $1,000 a month mortgage payment, but in reality, your monthly expenses could be $2,600, $2,700, $2,800 a month because of all the other things that you have to use to live, and you have to account for that. If you got suits, you got a job, you got to dry clean your clothes, your shirts, all those things become monthly expenses. You know, are you taking your lunch to work, or are you going to be buying lunch to work?
True.
That's a monthly expense. So you got to average all those things, be realistic. So I try to get people to do that, which they don't do that a lot. Some realtors, some will agree, and some may not be like, we don't go into all that. But no, that's the reality of it all. You have to include that in the realization of when you're purchasing a home.
I know my wife and I, we sat down one day and we were just looking over figures. We saw that we spend on the average at $900 a month eating out.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
And that's realistic for a lot of people, and you never even think about it. You're just grabbing something at a restaurant on the way home, or just while we're out, because fast food used to be a treat. Now fast food is a normal part of our everyday living.
True.
Now it's not a treat for the children. No, we're just gonna go to McDonald's or Burger King or Chick-fil-A or something, and that's on a regular basis. It's not something that you say, well, on Saturday or Friday we're gonna treat you to that. No, they're doing it on a regular basis, and we're doing it to ourselves too. So, and we're not even thinking about the expenses when it comes up monthly. So we still got to pay our mortgage, our rent, what have you. But those other things, take away from the finances that we are having to use to pay our mortgage each month.
That's true.
So those things should be incorporated in our planning for when we're purchasing a home, and when we're planning our financial life, and how we're going to do things. And then on top of that, and segue into retirement planning, are you putting money away? Because putting money into a savings account or to an IRA or a life insurance retirement product, that's an expense too. It should be, but a lot of people don't make that an expense because they're not doing it. They're not putting money away at least $200 a month in a savings account. A lot of people can't afford to. They have to pay their bills.
Especially nowadays.
But that should be an expense. Putting money away for myself should be an expense. I should be a part of the planning.
Should we look at it like it's an expense, or should we? Is that a good mindset to train yourself to look at it like this part of one of my bills?
Well, I am an expense, so I put it in that way because you're paying something every month. We are paying something every month, right? We should be an important part, the first part of that. We need to pay ourselves first. The most important expense is me,
Okay.
So as I'm living, I want to make sure that when I get to the point where I can't or I don't want to work anymore, that I have put enough away for myself. I included me in that expense, and I maintain the discipline so that I let that finance grow. And talking with a professional consultant that'll help me to find the best tax-free retirement process or plan as well. As much as possible. 401ks comes with a tax implication. It's a great one of the great parts of putting money away, but not the only. But with our employment, a lot of people are just doing 401ks, but understanding that 59.5 rule and taking money out prior to that, you're gonna have a state and federal tax implication if you're taking money out before that and need it afterwards, because it's pre-tax money. So you're going to pay tax on it, but as much as possible, if you can find plans that's going to eliminate that tax implication, that's what you want to get educated on.
There are plans out there like that. You just got to know how to look and where to look for them.
Where to look for them. And one of the things is you got 100% of your income that you're using, right, as you're working and living. So if you're making $100,000 a year, when you retire and you're no longer working, what you're wanting to make sure you can have at least is somewhere from 70 to 80% of that income. You want to have 70 to 80% of that income when you're no longer working. So can you put yourself in a disciplinary mindset to put money away So if you decide to no longer work at age 60 or 65, which a lot of people are working at age 70, 65 is just a number they throw out there. 67 or 68 now is like retirement. But people don't want to continue work because a lot of people are having to.
Yeah.
So because of the fear, 60% of Americans have a serious fear of outliving their retirement income. So people are continuing to work so that they don't have that situation. But can you put yourself in a situation so when you do retire, that each year that you'll be able to receive at least 70 to 80% of what you were making? Can you put yourself in a situation? And most people cannot.
You know something, not to cut you off, we're going to let you get back. But you know something, when I was young, I really thought like this. I thought that, you work and you retire and you enjoy your retirement. But now, as I'm at that age, I see now a lot of people work and retire and spend their retirement at the doctor, buying medicine, and going back and forth to doctor's appointments. You can't enjoy your retirement. Then a lot of people can't retire because their bills won't allow them to retire.
That's correct.
And that's almost sad.
That's correct. So it really comes down to being able to put yourself in a situation to where you can have a comfortable retirement life, and it starts as early as possible. So if someone is 45 or 50, don't say, well, it bothers me to hear people say, well, it's too late for me. What do you mean it's too late for you? Even if you're 60, it's not too late for you. Your life is not over. You're 60, you can still live to be 85 or 90. So why are you saying that it's too old for you? It's not too late. Your life is not over, and you still have an opportunity to start putting something away. If you're working, you have income coming in, still work on putting enough income away so that you, when you do officially stop working, that you can have something comfortable to rely on. Social Security may or may not be, but Social Security is in most cases is 35 to 40% of your monthly income, and that's not anywhere close to enough to live off on. But there are people in their retirement age, that's all they're living off of is Social Security, and they may have the Medicaid that they can use for their medical expenses or issues, but they're not, and how they use a biblical term, a little slang, they're robbing Peter to pay Paul every month, because they don't have the income, and they're deciding which medicine. And literally people are deciding which medicines to get. Do I go to the doctor this month because I don't have enough for a copay or what have you? And it's not a good way to be. It's not a good situation to be in. And then when it come down, if they don't have children, if they don't have grandchildren, if they don't have family that's helping to care for them so they can get through their later years, that is not a great situation. But many people are in that situation.
True.
And they don't have that finance. So in a lot of cases, what people don't think about, our children are part of our retirement. It is not that you're relying on them, but if you're building a family structure the way it needs to be built, in most cases, the children should be in the mindset, I'm going to make sure mom and dad are living well. They took care of me, I'm going to make sure to take care of them. Even though mom and dad put away like they're supposed to, and they help educate me, the child, and that I'm putting together a good retirement plan for myself and for my children. But when my dad and mom get to their retirement time, the children need to make sure, or the family structure should make sure that you do have somewhat support.
In place, yeah.
It's not about them having the financially necessary to take care of you, but if they have to as a child, it's not about me saying I shouldn't have to. I should want to make sure that my mom and dad are good to go. So you build on an educational mindset to educate yourself, educate each other as a family, and start putting away as a parent. And then as a child, you're educating them, and you start putting away from them while they're young. And then some people, I tell them, buy an index universal life policy, or put an IRA or something. Put money away for your child before they graduate high school. Or if you didn't do it when they was in high school or before they graduate, make that a graduation present. Start putting money in an IRA for them as a graduation present. That should be about money.
So your business helps set up all this stuff you're talking about. This is what
my business helps people to set up annuities, IRA, life insurance retirement plans. Listen, we have life insurance retirement plans products out there. Not just our firm. but a lot of companies have. But you can get living benefits. And our plans, when we set up our clients with life insurance plans, it comes with living benefits automatically. What are living benefits? Living benefits are when you have a terminal, or critical, or chronic illness. Okay? And you can have a terminal illness and your doctor says you have 12 months or 24 months to live, and that's it. So what happens is, if you get one of these life insurance products, okay, the life insurance product, get $100,000 policy, I use that example. Okay, you get a terminal illness. The doctor says you only have 24 months to live. You can get up to 80% of that face amount, okay, to help pay for whatever you need.
Okay.
You don't need, that's why I'm saying you can be the beneficiary of your life insurance product. It's not about passing away. It can help you live. We have a case of one of our clients who had, her and her husband owned the restaurant, they owned the stores, and she had $1 million policy, okay? Automatically come with living benefits. She was given a terminal illness diagnosis by her doctor, 24 months to live. So they put in the paperwork to get the funding. They got an advance, an accelerated benefit rider, as they call it. But they got the benefit up front. It wasn't about waiting for her to pass away. She could get the money up front because of that diagnosis, right? Okay. Well, what happens? She got almost $800,000, right? That they gave her up front to spend as she so needed. She got personalized care, service, in-home care came to her. She outlived those 2 years.
Because she was
able to get the care. And stress can take a person out quicker than the illness. Stress causes more sickness than anything else. So you have a single mother that ends up getting one of these situations where she get a critical illness or terminal illness or chronic illness. She ends up getting diagnosed with diabetes, and then you say, what am I going to do? Or get a lupus or MS. Those things come about. And if you have a life insurance plan with the living benefit riders that comes with it already in your plan, you end up getting diagnosed after the fact that you got these policies. You can get money up front. You may have money saved. You may have a 401k or any type of retirement with your job or employer. Some people forget to purchase or can't afford to purchase or don't care to purchase short-term disability or long-term disability from their employer. But you get a financial policy, a life insurance policy that also can give you long-term care, but give you money so you can spend as you need. Pay your rent, pay your car note, pay your car off, take care of your medical expenses, still buy groceries, okay? Not worry about your child, because you have single mothers, single fathers, okay? Parents that are not doing well. You get this type of life insurance products that we provide, other insurance carriers provide, but you get it with living benefits, and then it's also with these index universal life policies or life insurance retirement plan policy. These are very different types of whole life policy. Whole life is not just one type of thing. There are different types of whole life policies. This particular type of whole life policy, which most cases all whole life allow you to build build money. You can build a nest egg within it. You get interest or return on your investment without losing any money. It's not the stock market. Okay, you're not investing anything in the stock market, but you're benefiting somewhat. So with that being the case, you can get these type of life insurance plans, and if something happens unfortunately a diagnosis happens to that client, they're able to call in some of that funds early to help take care of the expenses.
And that's a blessing.
These are the type of things you want to see people start planning for more often.
And this is something you guys ought to really take serious and look into, because I'm sitting there and listening to it. I see what a lot of ways that I went wrong on a lot of stuff. Having someone like this in your corner to guide you through, navigate you through these processes is a plus. So you guys really need to think seriously about contacting this brother about. But we're gonna have to. It's gonna take more. He got a lot more information.
Yes,
we're gonna
a lot
have
more.
to
take more
probably
time.
do another one on financial literacy and being a good steward of our finance, showing you what it's really about when we talk about. We just say good steward in church. I guess the church lingo or whatever, but we don't know how serious that really is. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in for this episode of Across the Desk with Pastor Clark, and thank you for my guest, that was able to come here today to be willing to share this very valid and important information with us. And brother, before you leave, it ain't much, but I don't know if you drink coffee or not. This is a little token from across the desk with Pastor Clark.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love my coffee, and I'm going to make sure this is put to good use.
Yeah. And I just want to thank you, man. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, Pastor. It's been an honor to be here.
We work together, so we're going to be talking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can pick your brain about a lot of stuff. And I thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Share it with your friends. Share it with your neighbor. Push the like button. And those who hadn't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go on there and subscribe to Across the Desk with Pastor Clark. Let me bring you guys some good information here in the future. Thank you, and may God bless you and have a smile upon you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.